Slavery, a word that evokes images of chains and injustice. A story where one human being is degraded to the property of another. But this is not just a story from the distant past. Let's journey together through the history of this institution to understand its different forms and to realize that its shadows stretch all the way into our present day. Journey begins in the shadow of the pyramids, in the empire of the pharaohs. Here, slavery was a cornerstone of the economy, while much of the great construction was done by peasants who toiled in the most inhuman conditions, deep in the mines and quarries. They also served in the temples and the homes of the wealthy. They were considered property to be bought, sold, or inherited, their lives holding little value. Now to Rome, an empire that rose and fell on the backs of slaves. Enslaved people made up as much as a third of the population, and their fates were incredibly diverse. Some died in the brutal conditions of the mines. Others were chained to the oars of war galleys. Yet if they were lucky and educated, others could serve as doctors, tutors, or administrators. The vast majority, however, lived a life of brutality without any rights. Their only hope was death, or the rare chance of being granted their freedom. We now arrive at one of the darkest chapters in human history. During the journey known as the Middle Passage, they were crammed into the darkness of the ship's hold, chained together in filth and disease. Stripped of their humanity, hundreds of thousands would not survive the voyage. And for those who did, they entered a new world where only the whip and a lifetime of suffering awaited them. In the Americas, a new and especially cruel system of slavery took root: chattel slavery. Here, human beings were not just laborers. They were legally defined as property for life. This status was passed down from mother to child, creating generations born only to be owned. On the vast cotton, sugar, and tobacco plantations, life was a relentless cycle of toil from dawn until dusk. This brutal system was enforced by the constant threat of the whip and the systematic destruction of families, as loved ones were sold away, never to be seen again. This regime, which created immense wealth for a few, was built entirely on the blood and suffering of millions.